Hey,
Just let me know when.
Bro, I knew you timed that on purpose. Why you gotta be such a dick?
Alright, go.
Alright. Hey guys, Patrick here, and today we're actually joined by my brother to discuss a bit of a video that's going viral recently, and that's Jubilee's fit versus fat debate, right? And my brother actually suggested that we do a microcosm of the debate right here, because one of us,
Obviously, I'm the fit one. So,
is in better shape than the other. So, but first I do want to discuss the video itself with you, because I found it interesting. We'll put it that way. But the video as a whole, what did you think about it?
I thought that...
Go on.
Yeah, right.
You may continue.
I guess I agreed with a lot of the stuff that the fitness people were saying. It was just like some of them were like kind of dicks about it, was like the only thing, like, but in general, I think that, like, aside from, like, I don't know. Well, the one guy kept saying that was something I wanted to talk about. The fat guy who wore the green suit and stuff.
Yes.
And I did like his part about you have to be in love with your body to want to care enough to do... Because, like, I'm bleeding on my hand right now because I play five-finger fillet and shit, so I don't give a shit about my body. But, like he was saying, like, if you want to do better, you kind of have to love your body and stuff before you can... But then he was saying, like, people don't have access to the tools or whatever, and
that was...
Yeah, I didn't really, like, I do understand there's a lot of conflicting information when it comes to health and, like, what is healthy and what is not healthy. I do think there's a lot of, like, conflicting information on, like, nutrition and stuff, but, like, I guess I didn't necessarily know what he was talking about when he was saying when you don't have the tools. Because even though I'm not, like, current on some of that stuff and there is conflicting information, I do think it's, like, about research. You know
I was gonna say, yeah, no,
like, and even gym, like, calisthenics workouts exist and stuff like that. So, like, I guess I just didn't really understand his point about, like, when people don't have, and he never really expanded on what tools he was talking about that people don't have access to.
I was gonna say, in general, real quick, in terms of the video as a whole, I do think that it was very entertaining, but I don't think it was very good, on a real note, simply because, like, they for some reason, they got Myron from Fresh and Fit to be on it, who isn't a fitness guy, right? Which, by the way, something hilarious. I just learned this recently. Cause you know what his name is, like his screen tag is or whatever. No. His name is Myron. Myron Gaines. Like he'd be Myron these gains, bro. Like, and it's like, bro, like, I wouldn't have guessed he worked out at all if he didn't talk about it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and I said, you know, once again, like, and they even kind of brought that up in the video. But the tall guy who was, like, the plus-size model or whatever, I said before they were even talking about him being a model, I said, okay, but we're not all going to pretend that if they go to the bar, like, he's not going to pull more chicks than Myron. Like, he looks like daddy, bro. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and, like, but as to what you were saying about the plus-size guy when he was saying, like, oh, yeah, you know, you can do amazing things if you have the tools, you know, but, like, a lot of people don't have these tools.
And I understand too, like, salads are more expensive than a cheeseburger, and so there is, like, a financial aspect to being healthy is more expensive in America, and, like, blah blah blah.
Healthy, but not in terms of losing weight, because here's the thing: when I needed to diet down, like, I eat like crap. I eat, you know, a lot of fast foods and stuff. I would honestly say my diet is probably not any better than yours. I just eat less. Right? And so it's just like, I actually looked it up, and there was, like, this guy who posted videos online about, like, oh, here's what you can get at Taco Bell to stay under 300 calories.
Right. And I would never eat Taco Bell because it's dog food.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't respect my body. My point is like, yes, if you're trying to like eat like let's say healthy, right? I do think that is more expensive. But if you're just trying to cut calories, if anything, that would save you money because you'd be eating the same shit, just less of it, right?
Right.
But then like, this is what I was been saying about Myron, which is that like 85% of the time I would say he was right, but he said it as such a fucking dick that you'd never want to agree with him.
Right.
And it's just like, you know. Part of how you convince people is how you say shit, not just what you say.
Well, and that was the thing, is like everyone else was like kind of tiptoeing around it or whatever, like being polite to the other side. Like, you know, it was like everybody else was like using terms like plus size people and stuff like that. But then like Myron got on there and he's like, when you see a fucking fat ass, and it's like, all right, like what yeah. Well, and even the thing about like shame being a good thing, like in general, like I don't know, like I agree with what they were saying about it's not an effective tool for things like weight loss or things like that. But you and I have talked about like on multiple occasions how like bullying can be a good thing during like not in excess, but like, you know, if I hadn't been bullied, I probably wouldn't be a normal member of society today.
As you are right now.
Yeah, right. My future MILF shirt and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No, well, it's Mother's Day. But, yeah, well, that's my point, though, right? Is, like, how weird would I be if somebody didn't be like, hey, freak, you know?
Well, and, like, specifically when we talk about it, we're talking about things that, like, you know, there are people who are, like, real degenerates, right? Mm-hmm. And, like, they find their little internet rabbit holes where it's, like, there are 400 other people in the whole fucking world who think the same way as they do, right?
Right.
And then they're like, oh, I guess I'm not a freak after all. And it's like, bro, you are 0.01% of the
you're
population.
Eating your own toenail clippings. Like, I'm sorry. Like that, and that's what we're talking about when we're like, oh, shame can be a good thing. It's like, yeah, if you come to school and you're like eating a bag of like toenail clippings like it's potato chips, it's like, I'm going to give you a swirly. That's just, I'm sorry, but I think you'll find that I helped you in the long run.
Yeah, and it's like,
because then tomorrow you won't be eating toenails, right? Like that's like the thing, is you won't come to, at least not in front of everybody.
Well, and that's another thing too, right? Is like he kept like he really.
And I'm the fat one, right? Keep in mind, like he's the like we're not like being like, oh, fat people are like what? Like I'm representing fat people in this debate. Like I'm over like 220 pounds, and I'm like might as well be 5'3". So.
Well, and another thing too is like in terms of the debate as a whole, right? He just kept like. In discussion of the video itself, like, he just kept, like, taking it off point by being like, I think we should put fat people in concentration camps and women shouldn't be slaughtered.
Yeah, like, and then they were like, they were saying something about, like, oh, like, I think some people are just here to get, like, viral clips. And I do think that was, like, there's no way, like, and he was even saying, he's like, I'm not saying we should kill them, but, like, they can concentrate on, and it's like, okay, so you're intentionally just using like controversial, you know, language and shit like that. Like you know that's not what concentration camp means. Isn't to concentrate on something.
Yeah,
like, you know. So
and it's the same thing when he was like, you know, like every time he was like fat acceptance or fat activists like Lizzo, who should die or what? Like he didn't say that, but it was like
even
that.
Before, well. Once again, I'm representing fat people, and Lizzo is just terrible.
Well, I'm not saying Lizzo's good, but what my point is
let's not get too far off the rails, because I can shit on Lizzo all day.
But my point is just like he took every opportunity to like sneak in jabs.
Listen, I do gotta say this, and if you want to edit it out, you can get into the final video. It is what it is, right? My point is, at the end of the day, Lizzo comes out in these outfits, and everyone's like, "You're so brave. You're so brave." It's like, if I ever came to a party in an outfit and somebody was like, "It's very brave of you to wear that." Like, I'm going home, bruh. Like, I'm not gonna compliment your body, so I guess I'll compliment your audacity. Like, that's not a compliment.
So anyway.
Yeah.
No, but
I guess we are here to shit on fat people.
But my point was, my point in bringing up when he brings up Lizzo and shit is just like, again, it's like any little jab, right? Like you said, how he would like you don't gotta be like the plus size, but you also don't gotta be like when you're fat, like this guy, you don't gotta.
Well, and what did he say? He literally said it's like people aren't as valuable.
Oh yeah, because
they consume more
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because you could make an argument that fat people are a detriment to society because they consume more resources.
Yeah.
Which, you could make that argument, I guess, but
Well, and then he was talking about the mukbang shit too. He was acting like that was part of the body positivity. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like on a technical sense in terms of consuming more resources. I guess you're right. One thing I wanted to talk about that he brought up, and basically this is turning into the Myron video, which is kind of my critique of the whole Jubilee video, is that they let him talk way too much. He talks 90% of the fucking time.
I mean, to their credit, they did tell him to shut up.
Sometimes, but one of the things that he went over that I thought was hilarious was he was saying it's your duty as a man. Part of why you need to be fit is because it's your duty as a man to be able to protect yourself and others should the occasion arise. And it's like, bro, you're 140 pounds. You're not protecting yourself from anybody. If the most out of shape dude in that debate leapt the table, he could just beat the fuck out of him, and if they left it, if they left the fight to a conclusion, to have a winner and a loser.
No. You think that one dude, the what was
in the green suit?
No, not that dude. That dude,
the baldy guy.
No, I think that dude in the green suit, he's positive until he has to be. I think he will slap a hoe.
Just because you said this, what are you?
Wasn't there a guy in a polo or whatever?
Polo. Yeah, okay.
With the glass, that dude.
Maybe not that guy.
I'm not. Once again, I don't know what his skill set is, but I don't see that guy being a fighter.
But my point is he's
I'm
got
just trying to be fair.
He's got this skinny little frail boy body, and he's talking about as a man it's your duty to blah blah blah, and it's well if you
but also okay, but you're saying as far as actually being practical as far as build, because I was gonna say, to be fair, the thing is fit versus fat. So how we were saying, the one model guy isn't really super big or whatever, but it's a spectrum, So if it's a spectrum, then Myron doesn't need to be a bodybuilder necessarily in order to be fit, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, but my point when it comes to him is he's as a man you have to have you need to be fit in order to have these practical abilities in the sense of being able to defend yourself and shit like that, and it's I don't think he can do that.
And I think that a lot of people conflate having muscles with being able to defend yourself too.
That's true, but again, he's so small, he's going to be at a disadvantage in every physical confrontation, to the point where it's you might as well bring a gun into
you're
it.
A leprechaun. And I've seen you tear people apart, so what's your point?
Because, I'm, super wide.
Yeah.
Right? That, makes up the difference a little bit. If I was, then I probably wouldn't be able to do that.
Balls there?
Yeah, because I have to suck him off, otherwise I'll get my shit pounded in.
Please don't hurt my
Myron.
boyfriend, I'll do anything.
Yeah, just like Myron. Yeah, he thinks bullying is good, right? Let's bully the fuck out of him.
Yeah, so.
But I think that's all I have to say about the video itself. What about you? Yeah.
Next, transition.
Whoa! Watch me not edit that part.
Yeah, that was actually kind of slap. You should keep this too. We were talking about oh yeah, that was solid. This whole thing is an episode of 10.
But so now I thought it would be fun for us to go through and do the prompts of the actual debate itself.
Which I don't even think they were really that controversial either, because like a lot of the time they were like, I feel like most of the people sat down for most of the prompts, you know?
Yeah, there weren't a lot of disagreements in general.
Yeah. The one other thing I will say on the topic of the video, and I know we transitioned already, but basically, like, I noticed it was funny because when Myron was talking, like, the Asian dude was sitting next to him a lot of the time, and you were, like, getting his face, and he was just kind of like, I mean, I know I sat down like I agree, but I don't agree with what he's saying right now, you know? Like, I know that I'm on the fit side, but don't lump me in with this guy, you know? And then it seemed like when anybody else was talking and they panned across, like, Myron's face or whatever, he looked like just, like, baffled. He's like... like, so it's like, even when they agreed with him, he was, like, on a completely different, like, wavelength of, like, you know, it's like you got the right answer, but your math was, like, yeah.
But so the first prompt was, I have felt disgusted looking at a fat body.
Yes.
Yeah.
And mostly in the mirror.
I mean, I've said before,
we
like,
share a bathroom, so I see him. No, but for real, yeah, I hate myself, and that's why I stabbed my hand, as I mentioned earlier in this video. But yeah, so have you been? I guess we can't do the thing where we like walk forward if we agree. So,
yeah, I was gonna say
we could do like a hand raise and then discuss.
That's true.
Okay.
I mean, I just said agreed and you said agree, so I was thinking we could just use verbal cues like we did initially. Put your fucking hand out. But yeah, I agree. You know, like shows like My 600 Pound Life exist for a reason, and there are multiple shows where the whole premise is that they're fat. Like, what are those sisters? Like, you know, the Western sisters, and they're like Tammy and
oh, I don't know.
But you get what I'm talking about.
I've
like,
seen that, yeah.
Like, there's like a lot of shows based around fat people, and they're all like literally freak show type shows. Like it's like, ha ha ha, what an asshole. Like people aren't watching My 600 Pound Life being like, oh my god, I feel so bad for that person. I'm sure some people are, but you get what I'm saying. A majority of people are watching because it's like let's all gawk at the freak.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
it's a slice of life thing. It's like, you know, like it's a modern day freak show. It's the same as like, you know, in the 1920s when you'd hand a guy
a ticket,
you know,
go to the circus.
Yeah, exactly. And then
a tattooed like, man.
Yeah, and the bearded. Yeah, now that's just anyone.
But as far and I also wanted to say that as far as the prompt, it's like I have felt disgusted looking at a fat body. I'm surprised they didn't do the opposite, where it's like I have felt disgusted looking at like an overly muscular guy. Right?
Oh yeah, like well, the one guy did bring up that he felt like people have body shamed him for being too massive, and they brought up the anorexia thing, and that's what I was gonna say too. You know, I think that they were saying about being like disgusted versus being concerned, and like you can be
both.
Yeah, like it's like they're not, one doesn't preclude the other. You can see somebody who is like huge, and it's like, okay, well, the opposite of like attraction is disgust. Yeah. And so like I can see somebody who's huge and be like, like that's not great, but like still at the same time, like I don't wish unhealthiness upon them or think even less, like it's not even like I think less of them or they're less valuable, the way Myron was saying, like, oh, blah blah blah, you know. It's like, yeah, I hope that person does whatever they need to do to get healthy, but at the same time, like, I'm not doing the things I need to do to get healthy. And like I said, I'm disgusted when I look at myself. I'm disgusted when I see just in general people well, I was gonna say abusing their bodies, but you know, once again, I don't take great care of myself, but it's just it's a different kind of abuse, right? Because it's like anything in extreme is...
Yeah. But, I think
the one guy who was fat, but like, the model and stuff, once again, like, he, in general, was pretty physically fit, and well, he wasn't physically, like,
He's not unhealthy.
Yeah, he didn't look like he was having, like, heart problems or something. He was definitely overweight and, like, obese on a clinical scale or whatever, but, you know.
But, like, I'm obese on a clinical scale.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. So, told you, I'm the fit one. But, yeah, no, so I just feel like, I kind of lost it.
What you were saying and what I agree with is, like, you can be disgusted by somebody, and, like, that's your initial visceral reaction, but that doesn't mean you wish harm upon them. That doesn't mean you think less of them. It's just, like, it's just your immediate, like, ugh, you know?
Right.
It's not, like, and, because, again, similarly, you know, guys who are, like, super huge, shredded, like, down to 5% body fat and, like, 300 pounds, those guys look gross, too. You know what I mean? But, like, you know, but people are allowed to say that.
Right.
You know?
Well, and like, yeah, I think that obviously anything that's like attraction in general is kind of like an average thing. Like if somebody's eyes are too far apart or too close together, then it's seen as like abnormal by the brain. So like, you know, you want somebody who like the more average your features are, the more like beautiful
the more.
So like if you're freakishly huge or you're, you know, freakishly skinny or you're freakishly fat, it's any of those are going to be less attractive than if you're in a more middle grounded place. But that being said, I do think like lean bodied, attractive, like lean bodied fit people is going to be more attractive in general. Like I know that's a future prompt, so I don't need to skip ahead. But
it's fine. But speaking of that, so I think we've said all we need to say about that. The second prompt was jacked men are more attractive than fat men. And I agree with that.
Okay, so yeah, that was actually a perfect lead in. Yeah. I mean, and I specifically the same guy, like as a 1-for-1. I don't think just because, like, because I was saying, like, Myron is not nearly as attractive as, like, you know, the
like, model.
Yeah, no, honestly, nobody there was as attractive as that guy.
No.
Like, the second closest guy was Hercules. Yeah. But, I mean,
and he falls into, like, that niche category where, like, you know...
Right, where he was too huge almost, yeah. So, I feel like, you know, but if you had the model guy and he had, like...
abs.
Yeah, exactly. I think that he would be more... Well, and... I don't know, too, because I do think it's preference. I don't know. I think are fit men more... So now we're talking about it. Are fit men more attractive, or is it, like, a preferential thing, and, like...
Speaking from experience, I can touch upon this because there were periods of my life where I wasn't as fit, and then like, you know, there were periods now where I'm trying to get as big as possible. Yeah. And like, and there were periods where I fell off completely and didn't train at all. And you know, I definitely had a harder time picking up women when I was less fit. Like the more fit I got, the easier it became. You know, and and so I can, like, from at least an anecdotal standpoint, I can say from a personal standpoint, like, yes, it was definitely more difficult to, like, draw the female gaze when I was less buff.
I guess my point is just, like, I think that some women do like dad bods, so I think men, though, always want to...
And that's true, too, because here's...
You know, I think men see other men have... It's almost like the, you know, where women's, like... media was in the 90s where like everybody was looking at supermodels and this and that. It's like with all the superhero movies and stuff, like you know, Ben Affleck wasn't like shredded to play Daredevil in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a different image with the modern like superhero thing. So I think like a lot of men are tempted to look that way, but like I guess my point is just I don't necessarily, I mean, I do think a majority of women are attracted to that, but I don't know that, like how Myron was saying, well, if somebody marries a fat guy, she's going to cheat on him, and like
he was
she's
just
being disingenuous and this and that. Like, I don't necessarily think that everybody who says that they are attracted to big guys is being disingenuous.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because, like, I've seen, like, thicker women that I'm like, okay, like, you know, like, I don't know. It's like, I think it is, you know, person to person and your own preferences.
Yeah, but but if we're speaking in general, on the whole, like even if the whole is like 70% compared to 30%, I think that if you had a guy who is more fit, people would prefer that over someone who was more fat. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
That's that's how I feel anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 was
Attractive people are attractive, yes or no?
body positivity is problematic.
I think anything in excess is problematic, especially food and body positivity. No, but like,
And the people who support it.
Yeah, no,
amen.
No, but like, I
Kill
think
the
that
fatties.
it's good to be like proud of, like especially like what I was saying. The one guy was saying like you can't really even improve yourself until you really love yourself, because it makes you want to. So in that way, I think it's good, and I think once again, like pretty much everybody sat down for that too. So I don't think it's controversial to say like
it has gotten problematic
as long as it doesn't interfere with health, right? That's what they were saying. They were saying it's one thing to look like. Once again, I hate to keep bringing this guy up. Everybody's gonna be like, "Wow, your brother really wants to fuck the model." But like,
but I do.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. Is that no, but like, what was I saying? He just like,
just as long as you're healthy, like and
like he didn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. Why do you care so much about what other people are doing with their bodies?
Well, and I'm saying too, though, like, would he look better if he was 20 pounds, like more like lean or whatever? Probably, but at the same time, like, it doesn't seem like it's interfering with his health. He doesn't look like he's gonna like have a heart attack. He looks like, he goes to the gym a little bit and he enjoys beer a little bit and he's got a healthy balance going on. So I guess like in that regard, I feel like
right. And so but Myron and Coach Greg were even trying to shame him and say, oh, he looks like he could lose some weight, right?
Right.
And it's like he would definitely fall into that category in the sense of he's definitely not unhealthy. He's definitely not horribly obese. So why would he's like the picture for body positivity in the same of in the sense of he's comfortable in his own skin and he's not unhealthy. So what does that matter? What does it matter?
But then you have like people that are
on my 600-pound life.
Yeah, or just in general, look like they're about to stroke out. I used to be so big for a little bit that just sitting down would really take it out of me, and I'd be sitting here audibly breathing
I didn't know it was that bad for you.
Yeah, people would it was embarrassing because sometimes I'd be at a party or something and people would be like, "Man, you breathe really loud." And I'd be like, "Thanks." What do you say to that? So
thanks. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah. You don't. Crazy. I don't know. What do you say to that?
I think that's it for that one. But,
let's cut it there.
Yeah. But 4 was I have abused my body, and
never, not once.
I think that's definitely a more personal question, and I will say I definitely view what I do in terms of my body as abuse to a certain extent because I'm not trying to be healthy. I'm trying to attain a certain look. Now I haven't used steroids because there's a fuck ton
cheating. No.
Well, because there's a fuck ton of health problems and stuff like that, but at the same time because you have to start regulating your hormone levels and shit like that and paying attention to that shit. But for me, I would still classify what I have done as abused my body because I've done tons of shit to get it to grow. I've broken my body many, many times, and if what I cared about is health, then I wouldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't train to an injury and beyond, you know what I mean? If I was focused on just being healthy and fit, right?
No, for sure. At this point, my relationship with eating is unhealthy in the other way, whereas I used to eat to cope and, whatever. It's now I'm strictly one meal a day. I use coffee as a meal replacement, So, no, I feed this vessel as little as humanly possible to keep it going.
I guess we both could use some body positivity.
Yeah. Right, yeah. not to bring it down, I'm like sitting here, like this, I feel like this took a drastic shift. Like, I have abused my body, and I'm like, oh yeah, just like,
I hate myself.
Yeah, like,
But 5 is fitness culture can be toxic. I agree with that.
Yeah.
100%.
yeah,
I don't.
the same way it's the same in the opposite direction. He was
Yeah.
saying his abuse comes from fitness culture. So.
Yeah, and also on top of that, like, I think that there is sort of like an elitism in fitness culture. Like, gym fail videos are a thing for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, look at this idiot. Doesn't he know how the machine works? Well, no, he's never been in a gym before. Well, he should have learned before he came. Dumbass. You know, it's like, you know, I said we as in fit people, but like the fitness culture, it's like, okay, we shame people to get in shape, but then we shame people as they are getting in shape because they're not in shape yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know. I think it is generally very toxic. I think there are people who are fighting back against that, and I think that's good. But I think that, on the whole, I think that it is still very toxic because it is all about, like, vanity, how you look, trying to get shredded, taking drugs, trying to get huge, you know what I'm saying? Like, trying to get babes, and, like, just blah, 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 blah. Because, like, either you have people who abuse themselves through steroids, or you have people who are like Myron from Fresh and Fit, who are like, you need to get fit so you're not a big fat fatty. Who, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I just think it is
Do you ever
toxic.
think fitness is like difficult?
In what regard? Like,
Fitting this whole dick in your mouth? I'm sorry, I had to get that in there.
I can't believe I fucking fell for that, bro. The next one is, I wouldn't like to be on the other side. And I agree. I don't want to be fat.
Yeah.
I was fat at one point in time, and I don't want to be fat again.
I mean, this kid was like a chubby 6-year-old, and he's like, I was fat once.
Yeah, and I never want to go back.
I've been fat my whole life.
I don't want to be fat or 6 ever again.
I would like to be on the other side, for the record. If this was like where we stand back or whatever, I'd still be back there, because, yeah, I'm not. I mean, and I've been working on it, but it's tough when you don't have the tools. I just didn't know what tools the guy in the green suit was talking about when he was saying they didn't have access to, like, tools.
Yeah, because tools are information, right? And
yeah, it's like, at the end of the day, like we said, Myron was being a dick, but he was right. It's like, if you take in less calories than you burn. But, like, he was, like, saying, oh, it doesn't matter that you burn more calories when you're sitting than, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I think that is bullshit. Like, obviously, like, your resting, like, metabolism and shit is going to factor into, like, this kid, like I said, I eat one meal a day. I'm, like, if anything, I'm, like, you know, starving my body to try to attain the look that I want to attain. And like I said, I mean, I used to be a big old boy, so I'm getting there. But yeah, I'm definitely not doing it in healthy ways, but like this kid'll like smash like Wendy's every fucking day. So you know, I think that to say like, and I mean, yes, you work out more than I do, so at the end of the day, you are, I guess, still burning more than you're taking in. And I guess I'm not, because of the exercise bit. You know what I'm saying? But I guess I feel like I hike, I stay relatively active. But my point is that, you know, for him to say, "Oh, well, it doesn't matter."
Boo-hoo,
like,
bro, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, no, I definitely think that there's a lot of factors in it. But at the end of the day, for him to say he doesn't have the or the tools or whatever, I don't know what tools.
Yeah, because like you could literally just go to a park and lift rocks and eat less. And that's and like it wouldn't be fun, but it's doable.
Right.
Anybody could do it.
Well, and he said he cut weight. Like he said in the video that he's
Bigger
down. Yeah. So my point is, I guess, like he's saying he didn't have the tools, but he's also actively doing it. So.
The next one is. Oh, this is the last one. Your physique is in your control.
Yeah, ultimately, I think that there's outlying factors, like they said about, like, you know, just, like, people have genetic blah, blah, blah. I mean, we were just talking about, like, your resting, you know, but ultimately, yeah, I think that, I mean, I've seen huge dudes get shredded. So I've been in the gym, and like I said, I'm slowly cutting down. But I mean, I was in the time that I dropped like 10 pounds, they were, in a completely new body. I was like, that's insane.
I'm actually going to disagree with this point.
Oh, okay.
Like, because
I think I'm just the chosen one, and I was
no.
I could have, yeah.
No, because I think that there are certain factors, like you were saying, like how people burn metabolisms at different rates, right? That that's not in your control. There are certain, for me, I want to be huge as fuck. I don't think I'm ever gonna get above 210, right? So there are definitely things that are out of your control in terms of how big you can get, how shredded you can get, how much you can how much you can eat versus dieting
if you're
and stuff.
counting physique as height and stuff, but I think ultimately unless you have some sort of major genetic thing, if I guess I do feel like it was Myron was saying, it's at the end of the day, if you consume less than...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that there are certain factors that are out of your control, and there are so I think it's about and that's where body positivity can be good, is because it's about learning to be comfortable in your own skin. There's a Bible verse that's Lord grant me the intelligence to change what I can, the strength to let go of what I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference, or something like that. I'm not a religious guy. But my point in bringing it up is just because it's that's what body positivity should be, right?
Yeah.
Is to learn to be comfortable with the things that you can't change, but change the things that you can to improve upon them. Right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's what I mean when I say I don't 100% believe that your physique is in your control, because again, there are mitigating factors of things that you cannot change and you are just stuck with.
Even like I said about using food to cope with things, and that goes into people's mental, and you can say, oh, we'll just be
get good.
Yeah, more willpower or whatever, but it's
get over your childhood trauma.
Yeah,
trauma.
But people cope in all different ways, so I do think too that's kind of if your habit is to go to the pint of ice cream instead of a pint of beer, you're gonna. It's going to be harder for you to get over that and live a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. But do you have any more things to say on the subject?
Nope.
Neither do I. Video over!